The metal handle seared my skin. Midday, 104 degrees. The air didn't just press, it suffocated. I knocked once. Her voice, small, muffled, came from inside. When she opened the door, the heat poured out like breath from an oven. Her face was flushed, hair plastered to her temples. Behind her, bare walls, a cot, a dead fan, and a plastic jug half empty. It smelled like baked dust. "Why are you in here?" I asked. She looked at her feet. "They don't allow non-family members in the house." The house, 10 steps away, sat cool and shaded. I could almost hear the air conditioner's hum through its walls. Something in me stopped moving. Not rage. Rage moves. This was stillness, the kind that sharpens. "Pack your things," I said. She hesitated. "Now." When she stepped into the sunlight beside me, I didn't glance back. We weren't coming here again. We drove without words. Her hands twisted the edge of her shirt like it might unravel. After 30 miles, she spoke. "They don't think I'm good enough for him." My grip tightened on the wheel. "And he lets them treat you like this?" Her shoulders rose and fell. "He says I overreact, that it's just until they trust me." I didn't answer, because if I did, I'd have to say what I was already thinking, that he had no intention of them ever trusting her. The shed, the rules, the way she couldn't even step inside her own husband's house without permission. This wasn't a sudden cruelty. It had roots, and I was already tracing them back. The first step was quiet, always quiet. Calls to friends, old wedding guests, someone in the clerk's office who owed me. Pieces surfaced. They'd been married less than 2 years. She was never added to the lease. Her name wasn't on a single bill. The no non-family rule wasn't about tradition, it was control, a way to keep her on the outside in every sense that mattered. When I asked about his job, her eyes darted away. "Works with his cousin. They protect each other." It told me what I needed. Anything direct would vanish in their network of favors and denials. One night, I went to the shed while they were out. The lock was cheap. Inside, the air was stale, the thin blanket folded like she'd tried to make it look neater than it was. A single shelf held her clothes, stacked so small it was like she was apologizing for taking up space. I took photos. Every corner, every blister in the paint. It wasn't neglect, it was calculated erasure. The records came back in less than a week. The house, bought before their marriage, was in his parents' names. No prenuptial agreement existed, because no marriage license existed. They'd staged a wedding. No paper signed. She wasn't his wife. She was a tenant without a lease, easy to discard. When I told her, she froze. Her voice was barely audible. "So, it was all?" "They made sure you had nothing," I said. Her eyes didn't well with tears. They just emptied. I didn't put a hand on her shoulder. Comfort wasn't what she needed. What she needed was for this to be over, permanently. The next afternoon, I stood at their door. The heat pressed against my back. He opened it with that practiced smirk. I handed him a thick envelope. Inside, photos of the shed, copies of county records proving no legal marriage, a written account of exactly how they'd kept her outside the law. The smirk cracked. "She agreed to—" I cut him off. "If I hear her name from you or your family again, this goes to the sheriff, the local paper, and your church board." His jaw locked. His mother stood just inside, watching. "You think you can—" I stepped closer. "I already did." Then I turned. I didn't need to see the rest. 3 months later, she has her own apartment. The laughter is back in her voice, lighter, but with steel underneath. He hasn't called. His family hasn't either. Silence is the one thing they do well. I keep the photos of that shed. Not to remember what they did. To remember what I took her from. Rescue isn't about storms or shouts. It's about cutting every escape they think they have and leaving them to face themselves. I didn't save her with love. I saved her with the truth.